everyone give a big hand for Stal Rossi-Badia, who's from Amazon Ads, who's going to host her own mini panel. Ladies and gentlemen, Stal. Oh, she's here.
Thank you. She's here.
Yeah. You just don't know. You just don't know.
Yeah, it's a surprise for you every time, hey? Good morning, everyone. Oh my goodness, it's dark. I can't see any faces out there, but good morning. It's a pleasure to be here today. I'm Stal Rossi-Badia. I lead our video sales specialist team internationally for Amazon Ads. I was just thinking, going through the events this morning, I have the luckiest job in the world because I have this incredible view across how this whole industry is evolving in all these different countries. Obviously, I don't do that myself. I have the most incredible and fantastic team. So that's a lot of fun, but it is such an incredible honor and pleasure to be here today. It's so cool to see all these familiar faces and connect with people that, you know, we get to come together every year and spend some time thinking about this and talking about the changes that we're seeing. I think one thing that we can all agree on is that change is a constant, right? And especially over the last year, we're seeing incredible changes in viewer habits, changes in technology, and changes in business conditions. And all of those changes make a huge difference in the way that all of us are doing our jobs. But what I want to really dig into today is changing how we think about connecting with audiences. Okay, so most of us are still planning campaigns using a lot of the same tactics that we've relied on for decades, right? We're still sort of falling back on age-first strategies and thinking about generalizing characteristics of audiences across each of these generational cohorts. And so what's really important is understanding that people connect with content that really aligns to their values and who they are. And that's reflected in their communities, their passions, their behaviors, ultimately their values. So I'm going to take a step back. This is me with my 3 daughters. I'm a girl mom through and through, and I have 3 daughters. And you could argue that as an exennial, I'm a total fence sitter, I sit like right in between these. As an exennial, I have very little in common with my Gen Alpha daughters. And honestly, if anybody here can explain to me what skibbity means, please find me afterwards. I have so many questions and I need some advice. But the reality of it is, every Wednesday, and that includes tonight, we come together and we watch The Summer I Turned Pretty. Okay, we do this. My husband joins us too. He'll be so angry that I outed him here today, but I think he really likes it. Where are my Team Conrad fans? Yes, yes. See, I didn't even ask about Jeremiah. I don't even care. But as you can see, the community that's built around this content matters, and it transcends our ages and our generations. And this isn't just my personal observation. Our recent Beyond the Generational Divide research truly confirms this. We asked what really connects people today, and the findings paint a really clear picture. Canadians are more than 2 times more unified by shared behaviors and shared communities than they are by their generation. In fact, 71% of Canadians told us that they feel a stronger bond with people who share their values than with people who are their same age, right? And I think that just makes sense. When we dig into like what really are values, we're talking about the forces that unite people in their day-to-day lives. And for many Canadians, one of the most important values of all is their connection to community. At Amazon, we see this everywhere. We'll take Twitch, for example. Twitch is a community of over 3.9 million Canadians that come together over shared passions like gaming, music, cooking, all kinds of things you can imagine, and they do that in real time. We also see this in Canadians in the avid fandoms that really rally behind their favorite sports teams. So live sports on Prime Video, like Prime Monday Night Hockey, has brought together these incredible hockey fans from coast to coast. And we expect that we're going to see this continue as we introduce the NBA to our lineup in 2026, because we know how committed Raptors and Tempo fans are. Then we think about our own Prime Video originals, local and global titles. I already talked a little bit about The Summer I Turned Pretty, but this 3rd season hit #1 in over 120 countries around the world. We have shows like Fallout and The Boys. Fallout returns this December. These 2 titles were among Nielsen's top 10 most watched last year. And there are fandom communities that are really passionate about these shows. They come together in person, and they come together across social channels. Some of it is hilarious. If you're not part of one of these communities already, go check it out. But they're coming together out of a shared passion and interest in this content. And that's the power of really incredible content. That's the power of values-driven marketing. When Canadians rally around content that aligns with their values and their behaviors, we actually can see a lot of impact for brands. And we've seen this for years, right? We've seen brands like Dove and Nike really become synonymous with inclusion. At Amazon, we actually saw this ourselves. We had Cuisinart come to us last year and say that they really wanted to tap into the value of families spending time together during the holidays. They wanted to put their brand front and center in front of those moments. And so we had them sponsor our #1 Christmas title, Red One. The results were incredible. They actually drove a 22% lift in awareness and a 70% lift in purchase through that campaign. That's the power of values-driven marketing. And this is not a trend, okay? 63% of Canadians told us that they actually feel like brands are often trying too hard to align to different age cohorts. The reality is, if brands don't actually align to values, they run the risk of coming across as out of touch or even inauthentic. And so when audiences are engaged through their values and through their communities, this is where you're seeing that impact. You're seeing people remember the brand, you're seeing them more likely to consider the product, and more often than not, you're seeing them more likely to make a purchase. And so how do you actually turn all of those insights into the signals that you can buy as marketers? So at Amazon Ads, we actually identify those value-aligned moments using our own signals. We rely on trillions of first-party shopping, streaming, and browsing signals to help our advertisers identify the audiences that are going to make the most sense for their campaigns. And then we can bring those campaigns to life across either the biggest screen in the house, and you can do that through Prime Video, you can do that through Fire TV, or you can also do that across our very extensive network of publisher partnerships, both Canadian and international. And I am very pleased to announce, and I will use my cue card because as I stand up here, Amazon's in the process of announcing a 11-country partnership with Netflix as they join our publisher partnerships. So this is available in 11 countries beginning in Q4. I said change is a constant. I don't know if any of the rest of you have companies that are making major press releases and announcements while you're standing on stage in front of 700 people, but it's not the most reassuring moment to have to drop that news, but it is very exciting, and we're continuing to think about how do we allow advertisers to leverage our DSP, leverage our own unique first-party signals and insights to help connect with audiences and help to bring together this value of knowing the right consumer in the right moment. And so we've talked about how values unite people more than their age groups, and we've also talked about how brands can leverage some of these signals and do this with a lot of meaningful intent. I actually want to bring this to life with all of you today. I want to bring out a brand that did this by tapping into an audience that is far more passionate, or I should say a community that is far more passionate than any sports fan, and actually far more devoted than any film buff. And those are pet parents. So I'm a dog mom, but please join me in welcoming to the stage Jing Zhao, Director of Performance Marketing at Pet Valu, and Lauren Stal, Associate Media Director at True Media. I'll get them to come out here. Come on in, ladies. Okay, so together these ladies actually connected with the devoted pet lover community through Prime Video and Fire TV. So welcome, Lauren and Jing. I'm going to come sit down with you.
Hi.
I'm also part of a community that feels too short to wear flats and too beaten up post-COVID to not stand in heels for more than an hour. So
Smart.
welcome. Yeah. So here we go. So we'll sit down. Welcome, Jing. I know that this campaign was really near and dear to your heart, so I want you to actually kick us off by telling us who are devoted pet lovers, and I think you call them DPLs, right?
Yes.
And why do they matter? Why are they such a powerful community?
So I would love to know from the audience, actually, how many of you here today are pet owners? Can I get a show of hands? Yeah. So these are all devoted pet lovers, and there's a lot of you guys. So we call our customers DPLs, which stands for devoted pet lovers. They are a group of very passionate, emotionally connected pet owners who really sees their pet as cherished family members. They go above and beyond basic care. And they really invest the time, the money, and the thought into their pets' physical and also emotional well-being. Does that sound like everyone here? Through this campaign with Amazon, we brought this experience to life in a way that really connected with the DPLs, where they're actually spending time on the couch. And we drove very memorable experiences with them through contextualized ads that lived on the big screen.
Okay, amazing. So I can say as a devoted pet lover, although I feel less devoted right now, mine are sitting at home probably watching TV as we speak. I'm gonna actually play a clip of the campaign. I'm gonna play it without sound, so I'll get you to sort of voice over what this means, but you can see the playtime clip here on Fire TV. This is what it looked like. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. Okay, so I'll come back to you again, Jing, but earlier I was talking about how content creates these moments where communities come together. And I want you to tell us a little bit about how this came together on Fire TV and on Prime Video, frankly. And I know you can probably give us a little bit of context for what was going on there if the sound had been on.
Absolutely. So we know that devoted pet lovers would do anything for their pet. But sometimes playtime with their pet does get overlooked, between the different screens that we have today. So through Amazon's Fire TV's feature rotator, we actually created a very contextualized spot that looked like the home screen on Fire TV. And through that experience, it was meant to be designed as not a disruptive experience when you're streaming video, but also like a very welcoming invitation to, hey, maybe put down the remote, pause the video, and play with our pet instead. So I think between the targeting capabilities, the intent signals that's available on Amazon, and also the very contextualized ad spots, we were able to not just connect with the DPL, but also with the pet, because when that dog came in with the toy, it actually had a squeaky ball sound, which would get the pet noticed as well, because as we all know, when we're curled up on the couch watching TV, your pet is right beside you. So it was meant to engage with both the DPL and the pets through those sound cues. So together, this really kind of shows that Amazon can be used beyond just reach, but to build real engagements with their audiences in a memorable way.
That's incredible. It's super smart, too. Lauren, what would you add to that? I know you were really closely partnered with Jing and team on this.
Yeah, absolutely. So from the media side, I think, at the planning phases, we really wanted to bridge the gap between brand purpose and media behaviors. So we know that DPLs are highly engaged in the streaming space, so naturally Fire TV and Prime were a perfect fit for this campaign. But to add and to layer onto that, and Jing kind of spoke to this too, Amazon's data signals were really compelling to us because we wanted to make sure that this amazing creative was actually landing in front of the right audience, in the right place, and in the most authentic way. So yeah, I mean, it was a really fun campaign to work on and kind of get to see this come to life from the beginning stages and connect with consumers in an environment that is just so relevant to them. And another thing that I want to point out too, and I think you can see from the clip here, and how Jing mentioned that we took over or made a custom feature rotator. We didn't just show up, but we actually kind of showed up and joined the community in this really fun and playful, relevant way. And And it was just so well received and really a fun campaign to be a part of.
Yeah, I think so. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know when we were talking about this, you told me that a friend of yours complained that she didn't get to see the ad.
Yeah, so it was a funny story. After the success of the campaign and we posted about it on LinkedIn, I sent the LinkedIn post to a group chat with a group of my friends, non-industry friends. And I go, look at this awesome campaign we worked on. And so one friend said something like, I'm on Fire TV all the time. How did I never see this ad? It's really cool. I didn't even see her message and I didn't even have a chance to respond. Another friend jumped in and goes, oh, I saw this ad, it was great, I loved it. And guess what the difference was between the two friends? The one who saw the ad is a pet owner, like a DPL in her truest form. And my other friend doesn't own a pet. So I think that's just, for me, such a reminder that, it's not always about reaching everybody, but it's about reaching the right people in a meaningful and relevant way to them that makes it feel so authentic and has that huge impact.
That's so cool. I love that example. So for both of you, and I'll just go back to us, based on your experience with this campaign, what advice would you have for the marketers in this group who are looking to connect with audiences through shared values, who are literally looking to start to make this shift themselves?
So I would say don't just talk about shared values, but show up in a way where you find the overlap between your brand's purpose and your audience's lifestyle, their interest, and their intent. And then you'd want to show up in a way that feels both personal and also relevant. And I think once you do that, you're able to drive real engagements in a meaningful way.
Yeah, Lauren.
Yeah, I think to add to that a little bit too, for this campaign specifically, it wasn't just about buying an ad placement. I mean, obviously that's part of it, but it was really also about pairing pet values, insights, and love for playtime with that contextually relevant environment, and then with that audience that it'll really resonate hard with. And then when it comes to advice for future campaigns, I think I would say, think of your audience's values and behaviors, not just demographics. We have to go a little bit beyond that and ask yourself, where are they spending their time? Where are they engaged? And then how can we as a brand add value to that experience? And I think this campaign kind of speaks to that perfectly. And everyone who had a hand in this did an amazing job. And really about showing up, making a difference, and being that unique force that kind of stands out in a really relevant, impactful way.
Yeah, I would agree. I thought this was probably the most beautiful example for us of articulating the way that we're seeing this research come to life too. So Thank you both so much for being here and helping to sort of frame this for us. I opened by saying that we're all navigating a ton of change, and obviously at Amazon, we are working really closely with lots of brands to try and navigate this change. We understand that it's all about reaching the right person in the right moment with authenticity, and we're working to do that every day and have the pleasure of being able to work with brands like Pet Valu to bring that home. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.